And that's why today I'm trying to do that. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but.
Also in the meeting, so.
Should I write the summary of the AI?
I
What you'd like
believe
me to
that
do?
you should be the one, yeah.
Okay.
He has to give it off.
Especially the thing that AI doesn't catch is the thing you did well to recognize words, because many times, it's.
Let's try it again. AI, this is Alan speaking. Please recognize my voice.
This is Ron speaking. Ron, please recognize my voice.
This is Diana speaking. Please recognize my voice.
This is Alberta speaking, please recognize my voice.
This is Robert speaking. Hey, how are you?
Do you know that Helen is to enter in our beds? And they say, this is my voice, will recognize me.
Yeah, in your case, Robert, it doesn't matter because it picks up your user. Yeah, we are here under the same all user. So, okay, you want to kick it off, Robert?
Yeah, let me go back to the meeting agenda. Okay, it is Wednesday, July 3rd. It is 6:32 p.m. This is a members meeting for the purpose of discussing and voting on a special assessment. I call the meeting to order. We have a quorum of all 5 board members present, and in that we emailed and mailed 2 weeks ago the invitation to attend this special members meeting to vote on this special assessment. And so we have the quorum notice. There are no minutes from the previous meeting. New business is to discuss and vote by the members to adopt a special assessment in the amount of $1,200,000 for purpose of repaying the loan from Valley National Bank. And such special assessment shall be repaid in accordance with the payment schedule attached to the invitation. I asked the board members that are present there, do you have members who are able to count the ballots there in person?
Yes.
Should we present first the loan and take questions? What do you think?
Yes, that might be better.
Do you want me to carry it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this loan is a result of me and Robert talking with Valley Bank, $1.2 million. We are talking about 15 years, paid monthly or in a lump sum. The loan will only take place when the line of credit that will be used to pay for the works will convert by the end of the work. That means in the next months, nothing will change. It will only start changing when the work is done by the roofer and that line of credit converts into a loan. Who is going to pay the interest until then? It's going to be the HOA. Thank God we have funds for that. And this special assessment on our estimates might be starting on November, like it was in the letter. That this at an asterisk might be even a little bit later if the work on the roofs would take a little bit more time. Like the previous one, you can pay lump sum, or you can pay monthly, or in any moment of the loan, of the 15 years, you can interrupt the monthly and pay the lump sum without having to pay the interest rates until the end. Highlight, it's a 7.5% interest rate. It's a very high interest rate, which is accordingly to the interest rates that have been practices here. We started by 8.5 with Valley Bank, and they were able to get it down, but even then, it's still a very high interest rate. So, an economist will best recommendation would be obviously in this type of interest rates, accept some situations to pay it as soon as possible, because it's going to be a burden if you calculate the interest along the 15 years. But that is obviously a decision for each one of the homeowners. Any question about the loan? It usually, what we considered was to pay, even because of the calculations, if you start to pay monthly, then you pay the lump sum remaining in a one, without paying interest. We never considered paying twice, except if it was twice, and there was this exception for one of the unit, it was like 15 days apart. So it was like somebody paying 14,200 and then 2,600 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks after. But if it's very far, we might consider it and might be a decision for the board. Because the only thing we will need to calculate is that the new part will have interest associated, which is not very hard to calculate, and say what would be the remaining payment. I would say it's a decision for the board to take by that time. So no doors are closed there.
Any other question?
We have Brian.
I had a quick question. It's okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I might have missed this because I came in late to the meeting, and I wasn't part of the first one, but nothing about the loan itself, but do we finally have like a solid ETA on when the roof work is going to start?
That is not my area, so I will defer to other member of the board.
We
And
don't have a date. We don't have a date yet. We are not, this is not something that we're discussing today, but we are still negotiating with the roofers.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that during the negotiation with the roofer, I'm not involved. Giving my opinion, but I'm not involved. And then I defer to Rob. Is it clear, bro? Yes, thank you.
Only a curiosity, how did you get to that number, 1,200,000, and you already have a roofer, he has a contract, not that he had before that he didn't have, insurance, you already have everything?
Robert, you wanna take minutes from the process? Robert,
yes, sorry.
do you want to take minutes from the process? This is asking, how did we got to 1.2 million, about the insurance? So if he's a roofer or not a roofer, that is a very relevant thing. It is, because, and so do you want to take us through the process that was followed, please?
Yes, so to bring everyone up to speed in terms of how this board carried out this process, we first accumulated the documentation and necessary information that could allow us to send the RFP, the request for proposal, out to roofers. We initiated an agreement with an engineering company that would help with the RFP process, so that it would be objective and full of integrity throughout the whole process. In this, we also reached out to the community in case anyone knew of professional roofers, so that they could also be included in receiving the RFP. In the end, we sent the RFP documentation to 9 different roofers. From those 9 roofers, one second, I'm adding someone into the meeting. From the 9 different roofers, we created an online hub. The engineer company actually did that allowed for questions to be asked, for documents to be viewed. And we also organized a day of walkthrough where any of those roofers would be able to come physically visit the site, look at the roofs, discuss with us in order to help finalize their bids. In the end, 4 roofers submitted their sealed envelopes by the deadline. Again, another point that we wanted to be clear on is we did not want any room whatsoever for manipulation of process. So much so that we did not even have the engineer receive the bids, but the roofers delivered them in hand, in person to us physically on the date of the deadline, where we had multiple members of the board present to receive those bids. Those builds were delivered sealed. We, like I said, there were 4 of them. And then there were multiple members of the board that opened it right at that spot. In fact, we also had we had a meeting, special meeting that we sent out to the community to be present during that. We opened those bids and we tabulated very quickly the numbers that we were seeing from those contracts. And then we, on that night, then we broke it down further. Then after that process, sorry, I'm going in such detail, but I think it's important for the community to understand the lengths that this board went through. Then after that, we invited all 4 of those roofers that bid into a meeting, an invitation with each one of those 4. And we, as a board, conducted those meetings, and then we asked them the same questions. They were able to ask us and get a sense of who we are. And then from that point, with those 4 roofers that came to the interview, then we as a board looked at the information, looked at the quality of the interviews, and then we as a board voted on which roofer we believe would be able to do the best job according to the best quality and in the best amount of time. So cost, money, quality. And from that, we have selected the roofer, and we are finalizing the process both with lawyer and with details in the scope of work so that we can finalize the contract with that selected roofer. And that brings us to where we are today. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Let me just specify all the 4 roofers, and that was one of the questions, and one of the questions also for the attorney, because it's also very important for all of them to guarantee they are assured to do what they are doing. And this is
There's enough money, that I don't see that. There's enough money for the other 2 buildings.
Yeah. Yes, so there were 2 proposals below the 1.2 million and 2 proposals much above the 1.2 million that was discussed. In terms of the money, the proposal we have right now on the negotiation is 107, so there's still a margin there. But yes, there's still a margin.
Any other questions?
So you need to designate.
So, yeah, do we have any volunteers to count the votes, please?
Would you like to vote? Do you want pen?
Yeah, please.
So here,
I think we need 2 members.
sometimes you're gonna find this page, sometimes they have also the page with the proxy, which is the one that is the proposed one.
This is mine.
Thank you.
Yeah, all in favor, put in one side. Oh, okay. And those that are not, do the 2 way, no?
Yes.
Favor one side, those on the other side, and then we count how many in favor. Okay. Yeah, those, yeah, these are the pages.
This is the complete,
The rest of
we just need
Yeah, you brought only this? Or you brought also the vote? Okay, no, no.
Yes, that's important.
Because I already told here.
We have Brian, who is school, and the legal one.
Because we're here, this
Brian
new to
is
the
kind of, you know,
So we have extra detail.
Oh, I think Brian,
Robert,
In the
you wanna
back.
ask Brian, because Brian has a,
Yes.
an end up, and I don't know if it's a new one or the old one.
Brian, did you get your question answered, or do you have another question?
Oh, about just the estimated time. Yeah, you guys are still negotiating the contract. I did have a follow-up though.
Okay,
I know that we might have hired somebody to do a scope of work. And I know that was part of the negotiation. Is that kind of the last phase where we're going to make sure the contract includes everything that we need, and the roofers and our lawyers are still kind of doggling back and forth with that, or is there something else that's in the way?
no, I think that's a fair representation of where we are at right now.
Do you know if we've got have we finished our scope of work from our engineer yet?
Just received it.
Oh, you did? Oh, cool. Okay, so we're on the downhill slide then.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert. That's all I had.
Sounds good. Thanks for your question, Brian.
Thanks, guys.
What's this? This is the Robert's one.
what, the roofer to start? Oh, we said that we don't. I don't want to just tell you something and then it's not. We hope very soon.
Yes. Can you also, who else can help Edward to do except in counting? We need two people to count.
Okay.
Okay? No, we need two people to count, sorry. I know it's for practice.
It's to verify that he did it correctly.
Okay. For this very part, Eddie knows how to. Have a seat, have a seat. Gonna have a seat here. Eddie knows how to count. All right, so we have total of 24 votes, and all of them are in favor, correct? 24 votes in favor, 0 not in favor.
24 votes in favor. That crosses the
Yes.
threshold. That crosses the threshold of the 21 needed. Therefore, the voting for the special assessment in the amount of $1.2 million has been approved. Is there any further discussion any of the members would like? before we adjourn the meeting?
I just wanted to say, because a lot of people ask the same question that Didier asked, you know, when does it start? You know, the rain is coming, and trust me, we are all aware of that situation, and we are really working a lot of hours every day trying to get over the line. It's more complicated than what we thought, and we are all in shock from what happened with the previous roofer. So we want to make sure that this time we get it right. Needless to say that we all live under the same roof, literally, and one of the members here suffered, I think, the most water intrusion in the community. So she's very involved and understands what's going on, and that we are really trying to get this done, but at the same time, we try not to cut corners. So this is why when you ask me, when does it start? I really don't know. I really don't know the date, but we pushing so it starts the sooner the better.
1 month, 2.
Two would be crazy. 2 would be like, yes.
When are they finishing? This new roofer is finishing the work of the other roofer.
Yes.
Is it wrong?
Yeah.
So when is he finishing? An idea?
When is it finishing?
Yeah, because I suppose that they finish, but it has to be finished so that other 2 buildings, then they will come, begin, then the other buildings. no?
Correct, yeah. Once they finish building 2 and
So
3,
when are they finished? An idea?
They mentioned like
They don't know when they're gonna
6 to 8
start.
weeks.
How much?
6 to 8 weeks to build the building. That was like the estimates they're done. And what I heard in the interviews is that they need to stop and
3 months.
more or less, and they need, because they need to stop every time the rain is coming, they cannot risk any day with the roof open if there's possibility of rain,
So
so
they have to be.
they have to begin yet because we haven't signed the contract.
yeah, yeah.
I have a question about the expenses, charges, and costs.
We cannot discuss that.
Again, the kind of question you can get. I spent $5,000. The goal last week, paid $5,000, and will be paid. What's your financial plan?
Yeah, so,
I would, let's bring the attorneys to discuss those topics, because we have 2 things going on. We have the HOA and the homeowners. And so I would recommend to have a specific meeting when we have the attorneys ready to talk about that. But it's being handled, the HOA part.
There's a lot of people who know, well, communicate together.
No, 100%.
We need to have some action about that. Just don't fight about it.
what, I think that it's safe to say that whatever action is being done has to do with damages created by the roofer to the association. The association, and we cannot mix it up with the homeowners. And that's all I can say right now. Any further things that I say might work against us, because also this is being recorded.
Well, ask us for this to pay
We have taken that in consideration, and we have taken a hard decision as the board in terms of the HOA, and this has been taken in consideration. Is one of the topics that's over the table.
Okay.
And also remember that in your case specifically, not only you paid the $5,000, but also the association paid $5,000 on top of it by mistake. That was the previous association, that both. And on top of it, we hired a new engineer that the association is paying for it. So we're not asking you to pay another $5,000. So we hired another engineer to legalize the enclosures, and we are paying for it on top of it, on top of everything. So, but legally, I cannot discuss anything further. That's.
I think that the part is always a little bit misleading, because we're not paying for the legalization. What is going to be paid for the legalization is going to be the money that the unit owners. Based on the approval, they are gonna be granted, they're gonna be, like, credited. But we are not going to actually pay for the legalization. Yeah, and for the year, that was personal, that was a contract direct from the contractor to the unit owners, because you have the opportunity to say no, as I did. I have the same situation like you, the enclosure, and I actually refused to sign the contract. That contract was a separate contract from the previous roof contract with the association. Yeah. It wasn't part of the association. Well, the association did their instrument for the contractors to help the unit owners.
Let's discuss.
Yeah, that's a different business.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to know, when the association is gonna be on the board.
That was in the last meeting, the minutes, but in this meeting is only for the approval of the 1.2 million. I think
Yeah.
it's,
But the answer is next week, we were only free the last meeting. Decided because it was and it postponed to the next meeting. So we're expecting decision next meeting.
You know, my door is on the down.
I know.
So I have the door, I need the approval.
I understand. Next Wednesday, we took it to the next Wednesday. It's not a linear decision because of the cover, etc. But it's.
So what is the reason why they have to put the next one? That's standard procedure to have the material, the measurement.
There was not a consensus about that. So,
That's
but this is a topic for the next meeting, but there was not a consensus about linear.
That's fine, because if the one is brown or black on the outside, I have that taken care of.
Okay, so then.
As long as I have it white in the inside, I'm like.
Okay.
oh, okay, and thank you for letting us know, because that definitely helps.
No, for that, it's preferable.
Bronze is the color that, bronze or brown are the colors that are approved. When I installed my door recently, and my windows, specifically, they told me no white, they told me how it needs to open, everything, and it took over 3 months to approve windows and door. We try to do it faster, and if you are okay with bronze or brown from the outside, all we care is the outside.
If I can recommend to make it easier for the approval, we can send us the. All that would be.
There's certain paperwork you have to submit, like the specs of your window.
Yeah, she submitted the specs.
Perfect.
She
And then
submitted
adding
the
color.
Yeah, she submitted the specs, so if you can send an email saying, I don't mind having
The color.
brown or bronze in the outside, I think we can even expedite it.
We should have be more white.
Never supposed to be, right?
It was never supposed to be, and people are, unfortunately, it depends on who the board liked in the past and didn't like.
So depending on the board, it's gonna go wide and then.
Apparently, that's what happened, and we tried not to do the same thing.
We should write it like as part of like the bylaws or something.
That was already a standard.
It was.
Where the front,
It was.
the front elevation, this is the only part of the building that is completely
The same.
the same, exactly.
Okay, let's adjourn this meeting, Robert. Anything else?
I don't have anything else. Let me just make sure. There's nothing left on the agenda. Therefore, it is exactly 7:00 PM. And I call this meeting to close. Thank you, owners, for being here, for your engagement. Like we said in our letter that was mailed out, we do not believe that a community like ours should only be influenced by the board, but that we, as all of us as owners, to really be engaged, to provide impact, to really push things along. So thank you for your engagement, and we will talk soon. You all have a wonderful evening.
Robert, enjoy. Bye.